At exactly 2:17 in the morning, the phone began to ring. The sound was sharp and steady, cutting through the stillness of the apartment. There had been no noise for hours, no traffic, no voices, only the faint hum of electricity behind the walls. The ring did not fade or hesitate. It continued, patient and insistent, as if it had all the time in the world. Jake Miller woke with a sudden tightness in his chest. He reached for the phone without thinking, his hand moving on instinct before his mind caught up. The screen glowed softly in the dark. A name was displayed there. Emily. For a long moment, Jake did not move. He sat upright in bed, staring at the letters as though they might rearrange themselves into something more reasonable if he waited long enough. They did not. The name remained exactly where it was. Emily was his younger sister. She had been missing for 3 years. Her disappearance had been investigated, cataloged, and eventually closed. The word used in the final report was careful and final. Presumed dead. The phone continued to ring. Jake's first instinct was to answer. The second was fear. He did nothing. He watched the screen until the ringing stopped on its own, leaving the apartment silent once more. Several seconds passed. Then another sound broke the quiet. A notification. New voicemail. Jake's hands trembled as he opened it. The message was brief, 16 seconds in total. At first, there was only static, uneven and distant, like a signal caught between places. He leaned closer, straining to hear. Then a voice emerged. It spoke his name. The voice was soft, restrained, and unmistakable. "Jake," it said. "Do not ignore it next time." The message ended. The phone slipped from his hand and struck the floor. Jake remained frozen, listening to the sound echo through the room. It had been Emily's voice. Not distorted, not altered, not remembered. Exact. Emily had always been the louder of the two. She talked easily, laughed often, filled space without trying. She called for no reason at all, leaving messages that said nothing important, just reminders that she was there. 3 years earlier, she had been taking the subway home from college in downtown Chicago. It was late, but not unusual. Cameras showed her entering the station.
She was last seen entering
her
the
image
subway
appeared
station
once,
at
then never again.
11:42 p.m.
Searches began immediately. Platforms were cleared, trains were stopped. Her name was announced over intercoms and printed on posters taped to concrete pillars. Days passed, then weeks.
Command, this
Hope
is Unit
thinned
7.
quietly.
We're proceeding down the eastbound
Eventually, the
track.
search
No
slowed.
sign of the anomaly
Leads
yet.
faded. The city moved on. Emily did not. For years afterwards, Jake kept her number saved in his phone. Sometimes, late at night, he would call it just to hear her voicemail greeting. It was the
Emily.
only proof he had that she had once
okay,
existed
but
in the
something
world
happened.
as more than a case file.
I need
Last
to see
year,
you.
he finally deleted the contact. He told himself it was time. That was when the calls began. Morning brought little relief. Daylight
Did
did
any
not
of that
make the
really
memory of the
happen?
voicemail feel less
Or
real.
was it all just a dream?
Jake tried to explain it away. Phones malfunctioned. Systems failed. Grief altered perception. But when he checked the call details, his sense of unease sharpened into something colder. The voicemail had been sent from a physical location, Clark and Lake Station, Platform 2, the same station where Emily had last been seen. Jake stood there that night, surrounded by fluorescent light and stale air. The platform was nearly empty. A few commuters waited in silence, each focused on their own reflection in dark phone screens. Trains passed through without stopping, pushing cold wind down the tunnel. The station felt unchanged. Concrete walls, metal benches, familiar signs, and yet something about the air felt heavier, as though sound lingered longer than it should. Jake's phone vibrated. Incoming call. Emily. This time he answered. For several seconds there was only the sound of breathing on the other end. Slow, controlled. Then she spoke. "There are so many people here," she said. "They all hold their phones like they're waiting for something." Jake's throat tightened. "Where are you?" he asked. There was a pause. "Where people end up," she replied, "when everyone stops calling them." She told him what had happened the night she disappeared. A brief power outage, 90 seconds of darkness, cameras offline, lights gone. During those moments, she noticed people standing on the platform who had not been there before. They did not move, they did not speak, they only watched. They were people who were lost, she said, people who stopped being searched for. Jake listened, barely breathing. When no one is looking for you anymore, Emily continued, you don't go home. He asked the question he had been holding back. Then why can I hear you now? Her answer was quiet. Because you stopped calling. Emily explained that every time Jake had dialed her number after she vanished, the phone had rung where she was. She heard every call. She simply could not answer. When he deleted her contact, the ringing stopped, and with it, her connection to the world he lived in. Now, for a short time, it had returned. But it won't last, she said. If this call ends, I'm gone. Static crept into the line. A train rumbled somewhere in the tunnel. Jake stepped closer to the platform edge. I'll come to you, he said. Her voice changed. If you cross that line, she said, you'll stay here. Jake's phone screen dimmed. A warning appeared. 1% battery remaining. The sound of an approaching train filled the station, growing louder with each second. The wind rushed past him, pulling at his coat. I'm sorry, he said. I didn't know what else to do. Emily's voice softened. You survived, she said. That's nothing to apologize for. The signal fractured. Her words broke apart between bursts of static. Promise me one thing.
You ever ask yourself why you're really doing this?
Call the people you love while you still can.
It's in the code.
The line went silent. The phone powered off. The next morning, Jake uploaded a video. He spoke calmly about Emily, about missing people, about how silence does not arrive all at once, but slowly, through unanswered calls and forgotten names. The video spread quietly at first, then further. People shared their own stories. Names resurfaced. Faces returned briefly to public memory. Late that night, Jake noticed a new comment. No name, no image, just one sentence. Thank you for finally answering. He checked the time. 2:17 a.m. The phone began to ring. Some calls are not meant to frighten us. They exist to remind us before silence becomes permanent.